Do you want to stay more focused on the right goals in your life, or even just figure out what the right goals are for you? Do you want clarity? Do you want better work-life balance? Well, you're in the right place. Welcome to Success Through Failure.
Welcome to the Success Through Failure podcast, the show that reveals failure as your path to success. You'll listen to intriguing interviews with some of the most successful people on the planet and learn how their failures became a launchpad for success and how yours can too. Here's your host, former Division I All-American wrestler, former Division I head coach, speaker, and personal coach, Jim Harshaw.
Welcome to another episode of Success Through Failure. Today I'm going to do another solo episode, so it's just me. And this is something that I want to talk about today is something that's been on my mind and on my heart for quite a while. And kind of, every once in a while I do these solo episodes and I jot down some notes and I kind of try to flesh out the idea. And these last few days, it's really just kind of come to a head and something that is really going to help you. It's going to change your life, going to revolutionize your life if you listen to this and if you take some action based upon what I'm going to talk to you about today. So the other day, I posted on Facebook that our mornings are crazy. We've got 4 kids. Allie and I have 4 kids, and getting them all out the door to school, getting myself out the door, getting Allie out the door because she's doing an internship, full-time internship. She's getting a new certification in school counseling, so she's basically in full-time grad school. She's in taking grad school classes on top of this internship. So it's great. I mean, trying to get 6 people out the door for the day in the morning's crazy. So the other day we do a lot of shopping at Sam's Club. We got a big family, so we have to do we do a lot of bulk buying. So we have this big bag of oatmeal you can buy at Sam's Club. It comes in a box. There's actually 2 huge bags. And we were making oatmeal the other day, and Allie accidentally dropped the bag all over the floor. So massive pile of oatmeal on the floor to start our day. This is on top of just everything has to go pretty smoothly to get everybody out the door, right? And when stuff like this happens, it's just okay, you got to factor this into the rest of the morning. So anyway, dumped a big bag of dry, thankfully, oatmeal on the floor, and then we get ourselves out the door, go through the day, and then later on is just one of those kind of days where we're sitting there eating dinner, and my son Wyatt looks 10-year-old, and he looks over at the stove and he goes, "Could that be a fire inside the stove?" And I looked and I said, "Yes, that's a fire inside the stove." So taco shells were in the stove baking and warming up, and they caught on fire. So put that out. Reached over, grabbed the salsa at one point off the counter. The lid wasn't on, and I grabbed it wrong. Dumped all over the counter, down the front of the counter, onto the floor. And just one of those evenings, And then Allie had to jump on to the computer to jump into her online class. It was a live class that she had to jump on. So I'm with the kids and I'm getting them ready for bed, and I get the girls in bed. They're the younger 2, and get the girls to bed, and the cat's meowing in the background while I'm trying to get these girls to fall asleep. And it was just sort of a typical day. I mean, really, some of that stuff, the fire maybe doesn't happen every day, but every day stuff is getting spilled and things are chaotic and life is busy and life is chaos. And as I'm sitting there putting my daughters to bed, and my boys go to bed a little bit later, but getting the girls to bed, and I'm sitting there, did prayers with them, and it hit me that this is awesome. This is life. Life is chaos, and it's awesome. It's amazing. It's beautiful. These are the glory days, and whether you have kids or no kids or whatever stage of your life you're in the glory days. The life that you want to live is not some far off place in the future. It's here. It's now. You have to be grateful for what you have right now at this moment. And one of the posts on my Facebook post, whenever I posted about this day, one of the responses was, "I would give my left arm to be back there." This gentleman said, friend of mine, he said, "I would give my left arm to be back there in sort of the days that I'm in now," right? He has, I think, 3 boys, and they're all grown. And he said he would love to be back here. And it's true. I'm sure he would. I'm sure he would actually literally give his left arm to be back here. He'd literally say, okay, go. If you can amputate my arm, then I could go back there. Go ahead and amputate my arm. And it's true. But we have to realize that we can always wish and want our life away. And I'm not just talking about this gentleman who posted that. I'm talking about anybody at any time, at any phase of their life, right? We can always wish for something different and wish for something more. But I was in this chaotic day, and it would have been easy for me to say, gosh, I can't wait till this day is over. I can't wait till it's over and I'm in bed and whatever. But no, it's like, just be there, be present, because it's okay. These are spilling a massive bag of oatmeal on the floor. We're talking first world problems here, right? There are billions of people on this planet who don't have a big bag of oatmeal to spill on the floor. What do? I just swept it up, threw it in the trash. And there's plenty of people around the world who can't, who don't have that to spill. And if they did spill it, they would pick it up and put it back in the bag and eat it. And it's this idea of being here, being present, being in the moment. This ideal life that you want is not some far off time in the future. It's here. It's now. You have to live it, because otherwise you're going to get to a point, and maybe you're at that point right now. I'm 41, and sometimes I can be at that point. And when I was 20, I was at that point. And when I'm 60, I may be having these moments. But this moment of like, gosh, whenever I get there, it's going to be great. So I'm just kind of in this spot where I'm at right now. But boy, when I get there, then I'm really going to be appreciative of where I'm at. No, you have to appreciate it now. When I look back on my wrestling career and the challenges that I faced, I had like massive asthma problems, almost had to quit the sport through college because of severe asthma problems, and the medicine that I was on was stressing my heart. And, you hear stories of bad things happening to people, especially in a, Division I sport where you're pushing your body to the max. Like, I almost had to quit. But it's like, if I could go back to those moments, I would be there. Actually, I don't know if I go back to some of those moments because they're pretty painful. But it's a matter of like understanding, like, this is a blessing. This pain and suffering that I'm going through, it's a blessing, right? So much of this is a blessing. We have to, Gordon Hayward, player for the Boston Celtics, just recently, he had a gruesome injury in a basketball game, right? Broke his leg, ankle. It was disgusting to watch. It was gruesome, and it was devastating. And I was listening the morning after that. I heard an interview with Charles Barkley, and he just about how devastated he was for this guy. And the guy worked so hard, and has this gruesome injury happen. It's going to be a massive setback for him. Will he play college professional, NBA in the NBA again? Probably, I guess. I don't know how that's going to kind of work out for him. But we feel really bad for this guy, right? Well, this kind of stuff happens every day all over the world to people who don't have money, who don't have fame, who don't have a support system, right? So we have to always put things in perspective. Think about the worst thing going on in your life right now. And there's always a way to put it in perspective. There are people who have lost more, lost worse things than you've lost. People who are struggling with greater things than you. And I'm not saying your problems aren't hard. I'm not saying my problems aren't hard. I'm saying we just have to realize that it's all relative, right? Whenever we're going through, let's say, you have like an injury or a wound or a sore or something like that on your body that just hurts, right? And if you got like you bite your tongue and you bite it bad and hard, and like for a couple of days it hurts and you can't chew right, or you bite your cheek or something like that, right? And you forget what it's like to have no pain, and you're like, oh man, this sucks, this is terrible. And then it goes away, and you don't think about how great it is to not have that sore in your mouth, right? Or when you're sick, you got a cold or something, which I have a little bit of one right now, and or maybe allergies. But when you have that, you're like, oh man, I feel run down, I feel terrible, I can't wait to feel better. And then when you feel better, You just take it for granted. But don't take what you have in your life right now for granted. So how does that work with now also striving for more and wanting to achieve big things? Well, you can want more. You can strive for more. Those things, those two things, being grateful and having big goals, are not mutually exclusive. Because you have to reframe the way you look at achieving big goals. And you have to understand that the enjoyable part of that has to be the journey. It has to be mastering your craft. And I've talked about this, I think, on the podcast before. But Brian Bolland is was the head men's tennis coach at the University of Virginia, and they won 4 of the last 5 national championships, 3 of the last 3 consecutive, and 4 of the last 5. Just an incredible coach. And he was brought into the Darden School of Business, which is one of the top business schools in the world. One of the professors brought him in to talk about success and work ethic and leadership, et cetera. And it was interesting. I have a quote from this article where he said that I would have won a lot more national championships early on, because he had a lot of near misses, right? He got to the semifinals and lost in the finals and lost in the semifinals, et cetera, a bunch of times. And he said, I would have won a lot more championships, started winning championships earlier, had I began focusing on mastering my craft as opposed to focusing on winning, right? So that's where the beauty of life comes in, is mastering your craft. And guess what? Mastering your craft is hard. It sucks. I mean, sometimes you have setbacks and failures, but that's the beautiful part, right? That's the beautiful part. Like going through your day, trying to get your kids out the door for school, and trying to master that system, and trying to do a good job of showing love and showing patience to my kids while I'm getting them ready, while I'm getting myself ready, showing love to my wife and patience to Allie at the same time. And then oatmeal spills on the floor. Things catch on fire in the oven. I dump salsa all over the place. Like, these things happen. Like, this is a normal part of the journey. And whatever sucks in your life right now, you're sick, you crashed your car, whatever challenges you have. I have a good friend who I lost just a couple of weeks ago. He was a teammate, University of Virginia teammate. And it sucks. It hurts. The blessing is I had Scott in my life. He was an amazing individual, just a very, very kind, loving individual. Had a rough go of things after college, but man, I love the guy, and I'm just so blessed to have had him in my life. And the other blessing I have is this family of friends that I have that's going to come together at his memorial service here real soon is going to be another blessing, right? So I've lost 4 actually college teammates. I'm 41 years old. I've lost 4 college teammates. That shouldn't happen. That shouldn't happen. I've lost another high school teammate as well. So that shouldn't have lost 5 teammates already who've died in various ways already at my young age, right? But I think of the blessing that I had of having these guys in my life. They were teammates, they were workout partners, they were brothers, they were people I partied with, and people that I got in trouble with, and people that we had fun with, and people that I loved and prayed and everything else. I mean, these are amazing people, and I lost them. But how do you look at that? How do you choose to look at this? That's up to you, your choice. And it starts with the words that you say, right? So you have this subconscious voice in your head that's controlling all of your thoughts. It's happening right now. Maybe it's saying, this guy, Jim, he's full of it. He's BS, or it's saying, yeah, I get it. Whatever it's saying, or maybe it's saying like, I'm hungry, or maybe it's saying like, I got that TPS report that's due at 5:00 today. Whatever the case might be, you got this subconscious voice always in the background. And we can't let that voice be subconscious, because when it's subconscious, when it's below the radar, we can't control it. We have to bring it up above the surface into the light of day, and we have to see it so we can evaluate it and change it. And the way you do that is through, I'm going to throw this buzzword out there, and I'm going to talk about it in reality and a better way to think about it, but mindfulness. mindfulness, right? There's this whole movement about mindfulness. I just saw on the bookshelves the other day at the store, Time Magazine did a special issue on mindfulness, right? And it's this buzzword, and it's nothing new. It's been around for eons, right? And everybody thinks mindfulness. What do they think? They think meditation. It's not the only way to be mindful, right? There's so many ways to be mindful. We talk about this a lot in Reveal Your Path in the program, my coaching program, about how to be mindful and the various ways of being mindful. And I'll just give you a few that I do that help me be mindful throughout my day. That help me look at the oatmeal incident and just consider it a blessing. I mean, it's hard in the moment. I'm not saying I looked at the oatmeal on the floor and I smiled and said, this is how great is this? I was like, no, man, I had to go get the dustpan and broom and clean it up. It was on my knee and my knee hurts right now. So I'd hurt my knee. I'm not saying it's all smiles through it, but it's just gratitude and gratefulness. So here's the one thing that's really helped me most recently, and this is just a concrete tactic, and I should probably use an affiliate link for this because I've sold a bunch of these for the company that produces these, but the 5-minute journal. So the 5-minute journal was brought to my attention by a guy named Kevin Hadley, a friend of mine from high school. Kevin talked about the 5-minute journal. I think he was the first person to introduce it. It might have been him, it might have been Travis Macy even, but who's on my podcast at one point. And then Isaac really pointed it out to me that he started using it, and it's just a great little tool. And it has basically 3 questions that you answer in the morning and 2 that you answer every night. And I mean, you can create your own, surely, but it's nice to have this hard copy book, and I have mine right in front of me. And in the morning, it gives you, you write down the answers to these 3 questions. I am grateful for, and there's 1, 2, 3. Three things you're grateful for. And I used to do this just on my drive to work in the morning. I would just state out loud 3 things I'm grateful for. Sometimes having a hot coffee here in my cup holder, having a car and having a family, having my health, all these just little things, right? I wrote this morning, one of them was having the clean water that I'm drinking. There's so many people in this world who don't have clean water. Damn, you got to be freaking grateful for this. There's so many people, you listen to my episode 109 with, why am I blanking on his name right now? 109 was, Justin Wren. He's awesome. I mean, one of the best episodes ever. I mean, mind-blowing episode. So one of the things he talked about is his work with the Mbuti pygmies in the Congo, and how he, helps drill wells and fresh water. It's just incredible. So that's one of the things I'm grateful for, right? I can take that for granted, or I can go, wait, man, this is pretty awesome. Life is abundant. Life is full for me. I've got clean water. I can walk to my sink and fill up a cup of clean water. There's billions of people on this planet who don't have the luxuries that you and I do. Another one was that I wrote, this morning was Steve Garland's sermon. So Steve Garland was on the podcast here quite a while back. I don't even know what number episode Garland was on. He was on episode 67. You want to listen to that one. But he did a great, amazing sermon at church. The guy's just an incredible speaker. He's the head wrestling coach at Virginia, a former teammate of mine. Other things I've written down are my health, my stress. I said my stress was one of my things I'm grateful for a few days ago because it's just first world problems. So anyway, when you start your day out with these 3 things that you're grateful for, and then the next question is, what would make today great? So it's okay, how do I think ahead about today and what is going to make today great? Usually for me, it's something about quality time. Usually it's quality time with my family, getting in a workout, quality time with the kids, with Allie, being productive, getting certain things done. Maybe it's a specific task that I know I need to get done, but, writing down what would make today great. And then the third thing is an affirmation. I am, and you write down what you are, or what you aspire to be or feel. So those are your affirmations. So that's the 3 questions for the morning, and then the 3 at night the 2 at night are, first one is 3 amazing things that happened today. So you get to look back on your day and reflect and think about 3 amazing things that happened today. And then the second one is, how could I have made today even better? And it's awesome. That's a good one because you go, you know what? I could have been a little more productive, or you know what? I shouldn't have wasted so much time on social media, or you know what? I should have been more patient with my kids or with my conversation with my wife, or whatever the case might be. And then the next day when that stuff comes up, when you're looking at social media or about to be impatient, you go, wait a second. It helps you. You're a lot more mindful in that moment. So anyway, those are that's one thing that I do. I meditate. Episode 98, Nell Daly challenged me to meditate, and I've been meditating quite a bit since then. Not every day, most every day. I try to get 10 minutes in a day. As a matter of fact, before I'm recording this episode, I just recorded my own guided meditation. So I started out by listening to guided meditations, just 10-minute guided meditations I find on YouTube. And now some of those just aren't doing it for me. And so I just go 10 minutes, complete silence, and I just breathe and I think and I try to still my mind. And that's a really awesome thing. And now I'm like, I want to create my own personalized guided meditation. And I just did. I finally did it, recorded it. I can't wait to listen to it tomorrow morning. And it's going to position me awesomely for the day. So that's another productive pause that I do. And by the way, these are all productive pauses. And if you want to learn more about productive pause and what that is go back to episode 112, where I do another solo episode and I talk about this. This is the single biggest habit that makes people successful, period. Okay. Productive pause is this. I define it as a short period of focused reflection around specific questions that leads to clarity of action and peace of mind. Clarity of action and peace of mind. I mean, how hungry are you for that, right? Clarity of action and peace of mind. And that's what you get from doing the 5-minute journal, from meditation, from, here's my next one I'm going to give you, from writing down my goals. I write down my goals several times a week. I have a notebook that I keep and I just write it down. There are seven goals that I have right now. And I write them down. I write down my sort of little bit of an abbreviated version, but man, every single time that I write those down, in the middle of, I'm writing the first one or second or third one, I'm like, oh, stop. And I got to go put that on my to-do list for today or for later in the week or whatever the case might be. It reminds me to continue to keep these goals in front of me. So I live intentionally. That's the key here. It's like living intentionally. Otherwise, you're going to do the same thing today and you're going to do the same thing tomorrow because for no better reason than that's what you did yesterday, right? That's not living intentionally. Living intentionally is deciding, what are my actions? What do I need to be grateful for? What are the things I want to achieve? How do I get there? Who are the people I need to surround myself with? What are the things I can change in my environment that are going to make me more positive, make me more successful? Why do I even want this success? Who are the most important people in my life? How do I spend more time with those people? And how do I say no to the things I need to say no to so I can say yes to the things I want to say yes to? Because saying yes to everything and anything inherently means you're saying no to something else. So you got to say yes to the right things and no to the correct things as well. So these are all forms of a productive pause. I go more in depth about the productive pause. It should be at least 5 to 10% of your life should be spent in pause, in not doing, but rather pausing and thinking about doing. So minimum 5%, as much as 10% of your life. And that can be short periods throughout the day. It should be short periods throughout the day. It should be longer periods each year, each month, etc. So, and I go through some detail of that. And the whole point of this mindfulness and this gratefulness is this. It all comes down to this. What you and I are going through right now through life, it's temporary. How old are you, right? How many decades have gone by since you were born? How many decades are left? How many years are left? How many months, days, weeks, days? How many hours are left, right? It's going to be gone. You're going to die. I'm going to die, period. Everybody that you know, everybody who's listening to this, look around you right now. All those people, they're going to be gone, right? This is temporary. Now, that can either provoke anxiety for you, or it can give you freedom. It can give you freedom, right? Let go. This is temporary. It's temporary for everybody. Anybody and everybody who's come through this life as we know it. This is temporary. I happen to be a Christian and I believe there's life after this. I follow Jesus and that's a whole different thing I'm not going to go into. But this, what we have right now on this world is temporary. So be bold, think big, face your fears. Bravery and courage is not the absence of fear. It's actually taking action in the face of fear. Like that fear you have of doing the thing that you want to do. Yeah, it's normal. That's okay. Take action instead. It doesn't matter. Like we're all going to be gone at some point. People are going to forget. They're going to forget long before you die. They're going to forget probably about an hour later if you embarrass yourself. Maybe a day later, maybe a week later if it's really bad. I mean, think of some of the stuff you see on the news. These people embarrass themselves. Just terrible things they do. And then they get, politicians get voted back into office like a year later. And you're like, what? I thought this guy didn't he? Like, some of the things that people say. I mean, goodness, a president, like people forget quickly. So take action, be positive, be mindful, figure out ways that you can work mindfulness into your life so that you can be grateful, because I know it's hard. I know life is hard. I know it's a grind. I know it's a challenge. I know you want a new career, a different career, a better relationship. You want to lose weight or be more fit or find more balance in your life. I know. I talk to people. I coach people. I work with people every day who want that. You want that. I want that. We all want that. We need to stop and get off the treadmill of life and go, wait a second. This is pretty badass. What I have is really good. And here's why. Here are 3 good things in my life right now. Be positive, be grateful, but you actually have to implement things into your life. Systems like the 5-minute journal, like meditation, like not promoting my program, but like Reveal Your Path. This is a mindfulness program, right? It helps people get clarity on their life. What's next for me? And how do I find balance in the here and now? And how do I love and be grateful for what I have in the here and now? So that's a wrap. I'm gonna have the action item. I should have an action plan for this written up. I don't see why I wouldn't, but as I record this, I'm thinking about there's probably some really good notes that Lika, my assistant, can help me extrapolate out of this and put into a PDF. So jimharshawjr.com/action. That's jimharshawjr.com/action to get some action items from this episode. Share it with somebody. And also, I haven't really plugged this, but I would love for you to share this episode. My listenership is growing slowly, but steadily, but slowly. I would love for you to share this. If you could just share this with one other person, you can post this on Twitter, post this episode on Facebook. Go to jimharshawjr.com/podcast and just share that link and say, hey, if you're looking for a great podcast or a great way to pass time at work or while you're working out, listen to this episode. So anyway, I appreciate any shares that you might be able to do for me. So I hope you enjoyed. If you want to email me or tweet me something that you're grateful for, that's better to do that. Tweet me something that you're grateful for. Hashtag STF for Success Through Failure, STF. Something you're grateful for, something basic, something simple, and I'll retweet you. So you can catch me at, I have 2 Twitter handles. Why don't we do Success Through Failure? It's SXSTHRU through failure. SXS Success THRU failure. I know it's probably hard to remember, or you can just hit me at Jim Harshaw is my other Twitter handle. So anyway, that is all for today. And until next time, take the time to get clear on your goals and embrace failure as a stepping stone in your path to success.